Okay, what's good, everyone? It's Nigel here, Trinidad Empowerment Network. So, when I started this channel, these are the sort of things I wanted to talk about. This is a kind of positivity and diversification we need in the Caribbean, and we need it now. Because the truth is, our over reliance on oil and gas is exactly what's been keeping us down. So, before I unpack all of this, I wanted to like and subscribe to Trinidad Empowerment Network. We are almost 13,000 strong. Get us to 20,000, next to 50,000, next to 100,000. Let's keep building, and I promise to bring you the best information possible. Too many Trinidadians still talk about our country as if we are some kind of economic geniuses. Respectfully, we are indeed one of the richer Caribbean islands, but let's be honest, we are not economic geniuses. Respectfully, we are geographically lucky, is what I will describe us as, geographically lucky. Let me explain. Allow me. Lucky that we were blessed with oil and gas. That is it. Lucky that we were blessed with oil and gas. There's nothing genius about being born on top of resources that we did not create. We did not create the natural resources. We got lucky. That's what we did. We got lucky in Trinidad and Tobago. The real genius move, hear me out, the real genius move would have been to do what Norway did. What Norway did. You've heard of the country Norway. It's in Europe. Their GDP is substantially higher than ours. And they discovered gas 61 years after Trinidad and Tobago did. Oil and gas, excuse me. They discovered oil in 1969. 1969, Norway discovered oil. 61 years after Trinidad and Tobago. Hear me out now. Yet today, Norway's sovereign wealth fund, that's the money you put under your mattress, the money you save for a rainy day. The money you save for a rainy day, called a sovereign wealth fund, is worth over 1.6 trillion US dollars. That's trillion with a T for tango. Every Norwegian citizen by right owns a share of that fund. Insane. They use their oil profits to build renewable energy, invest in innovation, education, and their national healthcare service, securing their nation's future long after oil runs out. That's the genius move. That is the genius move. Meanwhile, in Trinidad, we have earned hundreds of billions. I'm passionate about this. You could tell, hundreds of billion in oil revenue since independence. Hundreds of billions in oil revenue since independence, and have almost nothing to show for it by comparison to Norway. No sovereign wealth fund, no economic transformation, just corruption and mismanagement, and the same colonial mindset where foreign corporations extract our wealth whilst we are left fighting over scraps. That is a problem with the Caribbean. That is a problem with Trinidad and Tobago. So anyone who's asked me in the past, what would you do if you was Prime Minister? Well, I'm breaking it down for you. You stay tuned to the end. I'm breaking it down for you. The colonizers may have left physically. The colonizers may have left politically, but economically, They never went anywhere. They never went anywhere. Hear me out on this. The colonizers never left Trinidad, the Caribbean economically. They still control our natural resources, and our politicians let them. They took the profit. They took the profit. We kept the pollution. We kept the pollution. We discovered oil way before Norway. Trinidad and Tobago discovered oil way before Norway. But today, Norway's GDP per capita is over 110 United States dollars. Do you know what Trinidad is? Trinidad is between 18 and 22,000 US dollars. And still, no one even gets anywhere close to that. That's not just an economic gap. That's a moral failure. That is a moral failure. We failed to use our blessings to build something lasting for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. So you ask me, what would you do, Nigel, if you were Prime Minister? Well, you are hearing it today. You are getting it live and direct today. Stay with me to the end. So I say, instead of building an economy of innovation, small businesses, which is, by the way, at the core of every major economy on the planet, small businesses, and empowerment, we built dependency. We have built dependency. Dependency on oil, dependency on government, and dependency on foreign investors. Foreign investors. We in Trinidad and Tobago could have used that oil money to build industries in tech, to build industries in agriculture, to build industries in healthcare, creative arts, you name it, to empower our youth, to tackle mental health, to tackle social inequality, to tackle the driver of crime in the Caribbean and Trinidad, to tackle poverty. We could have used it to emancipate ourselves from mental slavery. We could have used it to emancipate ourselves from mental slavery, but we didn't. We did not. We did not. Instead, politicians are robbing us blind. Foreign companies are robbing us blind. And that's why today this next story gives me hope. This next story gives me hope. I hope you guys are still with me. And I apologize. I'm passionate about this. Even losing my voice talking to you today. So most of you would not have heard of this company. I had to look into them. They made the news recently, and I've been meaning to talk about them. I've got no affiliation with this company. I know all I know about them is what I've researched and what I'm bringing to you today. But it excites me because whilst government after government talk about diversification, diversifying our economy away from oil and gas, but never delivers, the private sector is quietly starting to lead. And it's about time. It's high time we did too. We cannot keep this over-reliance on oil and gas. You have countries in like the Saudis and Dubai and these countries diversifying their economy away from oil and gas. It's high time we in the Caribbean start doing the same, especially in Trinidad and Tobago. So I want you to meet the Caribbean Dragons. The Caribbean Dragons. Now you have to think of it like the Caribbean's version of the Dragon's Den. Most of you would have seen that program called the Dragon's Den. If you haven't, go and Google it. A network of angel investors, entrepreneurs, and mentors across Jamaica, Barbados, and Trinidad and Tobago. In just 2 years, they've mentored over 200 startups, giving young innovators access to funding. That's crucial. How many great ideas do you know people have in the Caribbean, but there's no access to funding? There's no access to money to make it work. Giving young people access to training and business exposure that the banks refuse to provide, that the banks in the Caribbean refuse to provide. This is how you build economies. This is how you diversify. And they are not talking small business, by the way. They are not talking just small business. They are talking scalable business. They are talking scalable business. By that, I mean startups that can employ 20 people in the first year, maybe 50 people by year 3, and expand into markets in Latin America, Mexico, Chile, etc. That is what we're talking about. That is a level we're talking about. That is how you diversify an economy. That's how you create GDP growth. That's how you earn foreign exchange, Forex. That is how you build resilience to your economy. This is what government after government failed to do in Trinidad and Tobago, in my humble opinion. The Caribbean Dragons is saying what I have been saying for months on this channel. If Trinidad and Tobago really wants to diversify, it must invest in high potential startups and innovation. It is at the core of every major economy in the world. We don't need handouts. We need investment. We need equity. We need mentorship. And most of all, we need structure. The banks in the Caribbean, the banks in Trinidad and Tobago, they tend to be too risk averse. They don't believe in you. They don't believe in the youngsters. They are very risk averse in the Caribbean because they don't believe in you. They want collateral. That's all they want. But you cannot mortgage an idea. That's why angel investors, venture funds, and equity partnerships are so vital to you, the youngsters in the Caribbean. It's so vital to you. Small businesses, entrepreneurs, they need backing. Caribbean Dragons has even proposed a white paper to the government. Positioning Trinidad, hear me now, positioning Trinidad as the innovation epicenter of the Caribbean, connecting global banks, Exim Bank, the stock exchange, and new digital sectors like fintech and blockchain. It's ambitious. It's an ambitious but necessary plan. It's ambitious, but it's completely necessary. If we're really wanting or serious, if our government's really serious about diversifying the economy of Trinidad and Tobago and the wider Caribbean. So I'm so excited to bring this company to you. Like I said to you, I have zero affiliation to this company. I have zero affiliation. I only just read about them and I'm bringing it to you live and direct as best as I can. Because Trinidad, in my humble opinion, Trinidad is perfectly positioned geographically and economically to be the Caribbean's hub, for innovation and digital entrepreneurship. We have to get our youngsters believing in themselves, believing in Trinidad, not wanting to move away from Trinidad, helping with the brain drain that we faced in the Caribbean repeatedly. We in Trinidad and Tobago can lead this region. We can lead this region if we choose to. So when anyone asks me, what would you do? What would you do, Nigel, if you was Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago? If you were in leadership in Trinidad and Tobago? This is some of the ideas that we need now. This is what excites me. This is why I started this channel, this network. And this is why I want us to grow. Because this is the kind of noise we need to make. So when I see initiatives like this, I feel hope. I get excited. I don't know about you, but I feel hope. I get excited because this is the pathway forward. This is the route forward. This is what we need to do. Oil and gas gave us a start. It gave us a start. But innovation and entrepreneurship will secure the future. The youngsters in Trinidad and Tobago, they don't want handouts. We don't need handouts. They need opportunities. They need opportunities. We don't need more promises. We do not need more promises. What they need is investment. They need investment in them. Trinidad needs investment in the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Investment in their in ideas. Investment in their potential. This is what's needed. This is what's needed. So here's my message. Here's my message to the policymakers, the elected policymakers in Trinidad and Tobago. If you want true diversification, stop talking. Stop talking and start funding innovation. Start funding innovation. Let's talk more action. Support the Caribbean Dragon. Support local startups. Support young people who are ready to build. Because at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, oil and gas would not save us. Oil and gas will not save us. It gave us a start. It gave us a start. Oil and gas, however, will not continue to save us. Innovation will. Innovation will. And that's it. That's my take. Now, you ask me again if I was Prime Minister, there's my answer. Like, subscribe. Thank you for watching till the end if you did. God bless. Take care. Look after each other. Peace.